Wait.
Hello everybody, this is Danny from Deep South Homestead. We're back out in the front garden today. Guys, it's time to plant English peas. We're at a point now, we have a row cover down. We're going to be pulling the row cover back on the edges, taking the broad fork and breaking it up, and then we're going to fertilize it a little bit. The English peas don't really need a lot of nitrogen to start with, so we're going to use a low nitrogen fertilizer, but a high phosphorus and potassium fertilizer, and go ahead and get that in the ground. And then we're going to plant the English peas, get our row cover put back so that we can get them things going, because we're way behind because of the weather. Fire ants. Guys, this is one of the problems in the Deep South. You see these fire ants? When you put row cover down, the fire ants come to it because it heats up in the wintertime, and it creates a perfect environment for them to be able to raise their young. Oh yeah. Boy, that breaks it. Boy, look at that. That's all I want right there. This easy digger is where it's at. Now this ground hadn't been broken over a year. It's got you get right here, it's got a little hard spot in it, and that's the pan, and that's what we're trying to break right there. There we go. Now, look at that. Ground's being broke. 12 inches deep, guys. And we're not disturbing the microbes in the soil, so that's perfect. Another thing I like about this here, the way the handles are on it, I'm very limited right here. I've only got like 2 foot of room to work. And I'm having to, the angle of these teeth and all is really working out good. There it goes. Look at that. Boy, when I get down to a certain point, the ground just folds. Ooh, yeah, we went right on down in there. Oh yeah, that's all them English peas need right there. Well, that's breaking up beautiful. Alright guys, we've got the Hoss Tool Batwing hoe, I call it here. Check this thing out. Nice little hoe. We're going to take it and we're going to come along here. Look at that. After the broad fork. Alright. Guys, what we're using is a fertilizer analysis of 8-24-24. English peas don't need much nitrogen. They just need a little bit to get them going. And then once they get going, they make their own. So, but they need lots of potassium and lots of phosphorus. So that's what we're using, a high potassium and a high potassium and a high phosphorus fertilizer. All right, I just took the little Hoss tool batwing hoe, and I made a little trench right up next to the wire here. What we're gonna do, we're gonna plant, these are our own English peas. We save our own from year to year. We don't really buy any. This is a Little Marvel. It is the only variety here at Deep South Homestead we found that produces and produces well. Now, a lot of them make beautiful vines and they have peas on them, but not the quantity that these have and not the quality. So we're gonna be planting these, and we're gonna probably put them about every 2 inches apart. I think that will be plenty sufficient for the English peas. The things about English peas I want to mention is the more wrinkles they have in them, it's the sweeter the pea. When you see those that don't have wrinkles in them and you buy them at the store and they're just kind of real round and smooth, stay away from those because they don't have a high sugar content. These have a very high sugar content. See how wrinkled up they are? That's your first cue that they're loaded with sugar. Guys, I'm putting about 1/2 inch of dirt on top of the English peas. That's really all they need. And then I'm kind of patting it a little bit to get good soil contact with the seed. Alright guys, we've a whole length here. We pulled our row cover back, got our fertilized, got our English peas in, got the ground broke up. It's a little bit of work, but in the long run, we won't have to do any weeding. And that's going to make up all the difference in the world. And plus, you would think this row cover would be really hot, but it's not. I'm out here, it's perfectly sunny today. No clouds in the sky, no chemtrails, nothing. This stuff is just as cool as it can be. And that blows my mind. I don't understand it, but I guess the next thing we need to do is to put our row cover back down. And we're gonna try to reuse our old staples. Now they're a little bit rusted up, but we're gonna see if they'll stick back in the ground. They should, because this ground is really soft right now. And when you're using row cover, let me mention, don't do the 4-inch staples. Go ahead and do the 6-inch ones. And these staples and stuff, the 6-inch ones will hold it to the ground even if the dirt is soft. The 4-inch ones will just pull right out. Get it back through my plastic there. All right. We're just going to continue to work our way down through here and put our row cover back down. And see, that leaves our English peas are right here. They can come up right along here and the fabric is right up to the edge of them. We don't have any weed problem right up to the edge of our English peas. Okay guys, we've got all the English peas planted now. We've got all of our row cover put back in place. The next step is to get our drip tape and get it down on top of the ground before our plants come up. That way we won't have to worry about damaging the little plants in the future. So we'll be able to just turn the water on and use it whenever we need to. So that's our next phase. All right, guys, we're fixing to put the drip tape down. This comes from Hoss Tool, and about every 12 inches, you'll see it has a mark in it here. There's a little emitter right there that drips it. Now, what we're going to do is when we put this stuff down, we're going to turn this upside down and put it facing the ground because we're laying it on top of the ground. Now, when we get to the end, we have these little pieces here made by Hoss Tool. I'll show you in a minute how they fasten onto the line to close off the water. Right at the fence. Okay guys, we're going to go ahead and put our clamps on the end of our drip tape here. You're going to fold it. I like to leave about 6 inches here. Fold it back. There's a big end and a small end. Stick it in the small end. Push it through. When you get a hold to it, now don't pull it past right here. Pull it up. Fold it back. Stick it back in there. And pull it, and it's clamped off. It's like doubled up in there. It's not going to come undone. You got a little piece left here, but that's okay. All right, this will be the end right here that we're going to hook up our spigot system on the end of it there. We'll put it in here and put the little fitting on it, and we're going to hook our water line up to it on this end. Okay, now that we have it pulled down through there, I'm going to kind of like tuck it up under the edge of this plastic right here. That way it's not really exposed to the sunlight, and it's right beside our seeds and our plants, so when they come up, I'm one of these kind, I don't like to put the water right at the root of a plant. I like to move it over away from it a little bit, because I like for my roots to go what I call grocery shopping. I like for them to look for the water, but I don't want it to be so far away that they can't find it. So if we put it like a couple of inches from it, that way the roots have to expand to go to the water, and that way if it dries out for some reason I don't get up here to water it, the plants don't suffer that bad because they haven't developed any root system, because the water's always been just right there. So we're going to be moving it over, and that way I think we'll do okay. And it's not exposed to the sunlight to break down the drip tape, because the drip tape will actually be under the black plastic here. All right, now we have all of our English peas planted. We've got it fertilized, broad forked. We've got our irrigation tape down from Hoss Tool. All we're waiting on, guys, is just English peas to grow now. And whenever we get ready to have to do the watering in the near future, at the end up yonder, we'll be installing our little nozzles on it, hooking our water filter system up to it so that we can hook the pump up, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. And our English peas, we hope this year, will be good. Now remember, we're planting half of them in this garden and half of them over at the cabin. So we're going to see which spot does the best this year for English peas. We've got a sneaky suspicion that that one over there may do better than this one. So we're just going to see. But we're getting this one in the first day, and then next week we're going to try to get the other one in, and we're going to just see how it goes, guys. So thank you from Deep South Homestead.